$1,000 to $12,000 in value. You know, and if you were to factor in what we've already done to the property as far as it's already ready to develop, I mean, there could be some additional value with that also. So the dollar would definitely alienate everyone I talked to, even the ones that were in favor of it. But if we were to get a reasonable price for the lot, then I think that we could move, I think I would be comfortable moving
Again, there are
forward.
two different things. If it's not allowed, then that doesn't matter. If it's worth $1 or 10,000, you know, if the public doesn't want it there, then they don't want it there. So again, the downside and the price aren't, I don't feel what, we can get to that if we get past A, but B and C really don't matter if we don't get past A, in my opinion.
And A being that the people want it or don't want it.
Correct. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
those really don't matter.
Right.
If they don't want it there, then price and the look really don't come into play.
Right.
And where do we go from here? I guess, are we at a point of we decide if we're willing to sell the property before we decide what's gonna go on it? Are we, you know, or are we willing to put a price on the property? Are we
Well-
going to stipulate what can be on the property?
I
I guess
think-
what are we looking?
Also, one thought I thought, since it's so much fill dirt right there, is there a certain amount of time you need for natural soil compaction? Or can it be built on immediately?
If it goes through one frost,
Wood frost?
one winter.
It packed in pretty good, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of that was actually
Sand.
sand.
Well,
Much to Sand Construction's chagrin, a lot of it's sand because they had to haul it in. We had so much wet that they weren't able to get compaction with the soils that they had available to them, so they had to use sand for a lot of it. So I guess my thought is that there's probably about 3 issues here. You've got to figure out, A, whether you want to do it, B, what price you would do it at, and see what it would look like.
Well, I
So
think
I think all those things kind of have to.
I think those things have to come together, and I think we, at this point, we finish the public hearing and vote on the resolution with the offer of $1. Is that not how you proceed, or not?
No,
proceed?
I actually.
Can I interject?
Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Just vote on it if you want it or not, and I'll go look, there's apparently other spots. I mean, we don't need to waste everybody's time on, we can change the design, you can tie that to the building permit, you don't need to okay it until you like it. And, we don't need to talk about price, I'd say just go ahead and vote, and we'll go on from there.
There was no resolution on the agenda, because I didn't think Kevin was actually going to make it, so I thought we were continuing it. So there is no resolution tied to it. I thought this would be a continuance. So,
Okay,
I
basically,
just got into town, I got a phone call, and they said, get over there if you can, because they want you there, so.
actually, this is only review of the bids received, so they only, that's all we're here to talk about tonight.
yeah, there's no
resolution.
There's no resolution. I guess, what would the council like to see on the next agenda then? The current bid is the dollar, so we can just choose not to move forward and take no action if the dollar offer is being rejected, which sounds like it is. In which case, we could open this back up in the future, or wait for another bid.
Well, I guess
Just table.
I guess I would be against the dollar,
Okay,
the offer at this point anyway.
So,
because that's step 4 is review of bids received. That's the only thing we're really here for right now.
Right.
So, does anyone want to?
So how much weight does actually what the public wants sway this? Well,
You're 1 of 5 votes, Brent, so that's,
Okay.
you're 20% of the public is what you are.
okay,
Yeah, that's what you are.
so what the public's opinion should sway my vote? Is that what you're saying?
The public's opinion is different in my office than yours.
It's what we represent anyway, you
Yep.
feel, so.
Okay.
That's why you sit here. That's who elected you, and that's how you feel you have to vote anyway, so.
Did you make a motion?
You can't in public
What's that?
meeting.
Did you make a motion?
You know, we don't, are we motioning not,
There's no
there's no motion, so we're just, you know, we're just gonna take, I guess we just get to the bottom there, and no more comments, we'll just close the public hearing.
Yeah, and then I won't, being the dollar isn't acceptable.
Yes.
Okay.
We just won't put another agenda item
Right.
on the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I continue it or?
Yep.
No?
We just close it.
So there'll be no more comments or objections on the matter of the sale of parcel of land locally known as north half of 613 Summer Avenue. I'll close the public hearing at 5:54.
Can people still speak yet, or no? Is that done?
No, we can actually, no,
Yeah,
You can
you
speak.
can speak, absolutely, just come right up here and speak.
if it's about this matter.
Yes,
yes.
We haven't closed yet.
I'm a transplant, been here about 10 years. You're familiar with me. Anyway, I'm just kind of curious with this sale of this land uptown and stuff like that. I've seen, there's been, 4 businesses uptown closed now? What the long-term vision is for Humboldt, because I want to see it succeed. And I'm happy to pay my taxes if it benefits everybody. But if it doesn't if it only benefits a few, or a few businessmen, or a few people that want to build expensive houses, I kind of object to that. Let's see here. For example, like the tax abatement for the homes with $250,000 for 5 to 10 years. I guess I don't agree with that. If you can afford a larger mortgage, you can afford the taxes. With the thing uptown now, I see this as a pattern of behavior of the city, of subsidizing, certain businessmen or certain people that have money and stuff like that. I feel bad for the other businesses uptown who have not got a tax abatement, or who have not, are trying to have retail space up there and keep it retail. I mean, if you put an apartment there and that opens the door, well, what happens when the next business goes? We're just gonna put apartments in there too? And no longer will it be, all for commercial, it's gonna be a mix of commercial and residential, and pretty soon there'll be no businesses up there. I mean, the people that have businesses up there are trying to make it go, trying to keep downtown viable, but there's no support from the community, it seems, unless I wanna build a $250,000 house, or if I wanna build something out in the industrial park. And I think our money would be better spent, especially with these businesses closing down, to say, hey, let's look at the central business district. I mean, let's spend some money there. And I agree with tearing down the building and putting the landscaping there, because you had to do something with the space. I mean, you really did. It was gonna be an eyesore, it kinda looks goofy and stuff like that, so we spent the money for the landscaping. Now, if we sell this parcel for $1, all that money that my taxpaying, went for to landscape it, they get it for $1. Where's my dollar piece of property? Where's my tax abatement? I moved here in 2006. There was a housing shortage. There wasn't a lot of housing to be had. I paid pretty much almost the asking price for my house. But I was happy to have it because I wanted to live here. I chose to live here. I could have lived elsewhere. I think when it comes to, these tax abatements, doing these sales of this land and stuff like that, why don't you give tax abatements to people that are first-time home buyers in Humboldt, that are buying a house in town for the first time? I mean, do business, do people that can afford $250,000 homes really need a tax abatement? I just fail to see. So I think that some of this money is targeting the wrong people and could be spent and get more for your dollar if it's spent elsewhere. And the central business district is hurting, and it shows. I mean, and people say, well, I know Darrell Rusher said, well, this is not a, this is just how things are and times are changing and stuff like that. Well, I understand, but do you really want Humboldt to become a bedroom community? Because that's what's happening. They're gonna go spend their money and, down in Fort Dodge and stuff, because there'll be nothing here. I mean, there's nothing downtown, there'll be nothing downtown. I mean, we're the last town around here that has an actual dime store, a real something like that. Those are things that people look and, when they come into town and they see that stuff, it brings nostalgia. It brings, you need to, you can capitalize on cottage businesses like that, unique things, and support those people. But when you say, well, we're gonna knock a building down and we're going to landscape it now and I'm gonna turn around and sell it for $1 to a guy that wants to put apartments there, and no offense, I looked at the picture of the apartments, it looks like a mausoleum. I mean, with that statue out there, that's what it looks like. It doesn't fit in. So what vision does the city council have for downtown?
The contractor did not draw that up, the city drew that up, just so you know.
Okay, well-
I had no idea.
Okay,
Come out in the
all
paper.
right. It wasn't presented like that
I
in the
thought it was a
paper.
dentist's office myself.
Oh,
So-
but it didn't say that in the paper, so. But yeah, I guess my question to the council is, what's the vision for downtown? Because, if you don't start doing something, start supporting the businesses downtown, and I understand it takes community dollars too. I mean, it takes the people to actually shop here. I mean, I don't know, it always struck me as funny as when I moved up here that people would drive to Fort Dodge to save 25 cents to get something, but they'd drive down there on $3 gas. I mean, it's just, I'm sure it's some of the mindset and things like that, but at the same time too, I still think that there needs to be a real vision for what you're gonna do to downtown, because, I mean, you talk to any of the business people downtown, I've talked to them, and they'll say, the community doesn't support it, the council doesn't support it, and we'll move elsewhere, we'll go elsewhere, and you look at like places like Algona, I know Algona's there's more money in Algona, and there's, it's a bigger town, and they're not next to a larger city like Fort Dodge and things like that, but still, I work for the railroad, and we've hired a ton of people because of that Cargill plant and that CJ America plant. Those are $20, $25 an hour jobs, and the railroad jobs are even better paying jobs. And I've had people ask me, where should I look for a house and stuff? And I tell them, hey, you should try Humboldt. It's a nice community, it's affordable, the schools are really good, things like that. But at the same time too, I kind of have to stop myself and be like, well, what is the community itself doing to attract that? I'm trying to sell it, but at the same time too, when they come here and they see there's 4 or 5 businesses downtown that are gone, and they see a lack of medium income housing, not, these developments for, $400,000, $250,000 houses that the banks are all happy about because they're gonna write the mortgages on them. But what about the middle income people and stuff like that? I mean, where's their breaks? Where's their tax abatements and stuff? I mean, if you level the playing field and said, hey, in Humboldt, if you buy a house in Humboldt for the first 5 years, you get a tax abatement. If you're a transplant, if you come here from elsewhere, first time buyer in Humboldt, we'll give you a tax abatement. I think your tax abatement would be spent far better that way. But the same way with the downtown stuff too, to try and attract some new business downtown, whether it be tax abatements, but just tearing stuff down, closing stuff up, and then selling it at a fire sale, I don't get it. So, anyway, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, one last,
Yep, absolutely, Kelly.
I want what's best for the Humboldt, for, the people. Let's pull that offer. Let me know if somebody hears of somebody who wants something commercial. I'll build it and lease it back. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
Make 3 comments.
Go ahead.
As far as downtown improvements, there's many, Jason, there's many programs that actually target downtown. The Humboldt City Council established a revolving loan fund for downtown. It specifically targets the central business district, offering very, very, very competitive rates for improvements in the central business district. That's one program that was established. It offers about $250,000 of very low interest money to central business district businesses. There's the facade improvement grant, which offers matching funds up to $2,000 for any business on Sumner. The demolition project, I think that the council can testify, that was a very expensive project to improve downtown. hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let me finish. And so that was a large expenditure to get rid of some blight downtown. There's been active involvement in trying to secure properties that have fallen into dilapidation, like Sol Studio, that the owner deceased on that property, and it was, basically, we started having a squatting situation, and the city moved in to try and correct the situation and get it into somebody else's hands who can care for the building. So it's not that there's a blind eye being turned towards the downtown district. There's a lot of active involvement for a set of businesses, you know, that are, there's a lot of attention paid to it. And the downtown landscaping, the parcel that's actually being considered is not the front portion, it's the back portion that was.
So that will still be public property?
The front portion would have still been public property had that moved forward.
Transaction.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's said before he left that, well, if you want commercial, let me know when commercial, and I'll lease it to commercial or whatever. Or, you know, but isn't that what you want? Isn't that what a business district is?
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's what you want there? And just, I mean, this, how long has this property been vacant?
Not long.
Not that long. I mean, and if these programs are in place, how long have they been in place, by the way, Aaron? I guess I know the facade thing, I know about that when that happened, but how long is this other low
It's been-
interest and?
I think the Rustics loan was, when did that start? That was
Oh, gosh, 6 years maybe?
6 years, and the facade,
About 8 or 9.
yeah.
There's obviously something wrong then. Something's not working. If you've got 4 businesses that are leaving downtown, there's something in those programs it's not working. Something should be at least looked at to be done differently, because it's not working for you. And if the solution is then, if those programs aren't working, then let's, you know, go to, you know, residential or apartments or something like that, and then, you know, I mean, I'm just saying, it seems to be a pattern. I mean, it was really alarming to me to see that, you know, I guess, first of all, see the Hallmark store one leaving, and then, who else left? There was, we had the Scattergory behind it, and then, well, the antique business, yeah, anyway, but there's been several, you know, businesses leave, and from what I understand, the Mexican grocery store is gonna leave, and they're gonna maybe take